friends, welcome to the next JS series. In this tutorial, we're gonna see a server action and mutation. So first, let's start it with the server action. So our code will be directly run on the server. So if I, for example, if I want to post some data in a database, so what I have to do usually, I have to create a API endpoint. Then I mutate the data. Mutate the data in the sense I have to do a CRUD operation. Also, is possible when I have to give a API endpoint I have to use to mutate the data. Here, no need to create a API endpoint to mutate the data. So if I want to change some data in my database, I no need to create a API endpoint here. Also, we have an advantage that the security is uh, protecting against the various type of attack is the main advantage right here. And also we have a rules convention here. Now, for example, I have a form. So I have a form like this. If I submit this, I have to use a on submit. Usually we used to give a on submit in the form. The handle submit will be called. So the event will be passed. This is actually the event is actually a JavaScript. But here in the server action, even if my JavaScript is disabled in my browser, my form will be submitted. So without, if I if I use a on submit, my JavaScript should be enabled. Then only my form data will be submitted. Here, without create, if I even if I disable the JavaScript, my form has to be submitted. So here for that we have a convention. We have to use a action attribute in the form instead of on submit. We have to use a, so here you have to use a, so where is that? So here you have to use a action attribute. So also we have to use a directive called use server directive. So let's get started here. So I have a two form. So one is two input field. One is for the book name. Another one is for the category name. So I have a two input field. So in the input field, once I submit the form, I have a button right. So I have a button over here. Once I submit the form, I should not use on submit right here. So I have to use, instead of on submit, I have to use a action. So in the action, I'm just writing a function called add book. So in the app folder, in the app, you have to create a file called action.js. In the action.js, I have a function called add book. So when I submit that, my form data will come here. Here I have to use a async. So async function is directly executed on the server. So we have to use a async function here because we have to use a use server right here. So in the page.js, so go to the page.js, I have to import this book. So add book I have to import. It's loading. So here I have imported from the action add book. So previously what we'll do, if I want to create a API point, I want to create a API and route in the book and have a route, I have to write a post request. Suppose if I post something in a database. Here this will not be, this is not required right here. So go to the action.js. So once I submit the form, so the form data will come here. I have a two input field. One is for book name. So here I have a book name right here. So here I have to use a form data. I have a function called get method. So here I have to use whatever the name which I have given here. Here I have given a book. So this should be matched here. So here I have to book. So likewise, I have to write for another input, which is the category name. So I'm just paste it right here. I have to, instead of book, I have to write a category. So in this, I have to give a category because I have a attribute called category. You can see in the page.js. In the here I have given a category. So you have, this should be matched. So I'm just console this in. So I'm just logging this. So here is a book name. So likewise I have to console for the category. So this is for the category. I'm just save this. This is actually run on the server. So you have to use a directive called use server directive. And also I have to save this form because I have given the action add book I have added. So once I save this, go to the browser. So I'm just, it's refreshing. So 3000. So I'm just refreshing it. So once the my form is submitted, this console, this will not here, it will not appear here. So my, this is actually a browser data. If I, for example, here I'm giving a oops right here. I'm just giving programming. Once I submit the form, my console data will be print here because it is executed in my server. So go to the browser. Once it's been refreshed, I give a submit. So once I submit here, the add book action will be called here. The action.js, I have a add book. The form data will be passed right here. In the form data, the book name, whatever I have typed in the input field will be stored here. So here I'm just giving a, so oops, here I'm just giving a programming. So once I submit this, so you will be getting here the oops and the programming, but not in my console, right, in the browser. So because it's usually executed in the server. So I'm just remove this console right now. Here I have to connect with the database. So here we used to API book. So here the database and the model which I have been explained in the previous tutorial. So I have to connect with the database. So for that, so db connect, I have to give db connect. So I have to import this, and also I have to copy this. I have to create a, I want to post something in the database. So for that, I have to create a document in the database. So for that, go to the action. Here, I have to just paste this. I have a model called book model. So in the previous tutorial, we had seen how to create a model. So the whatever I have type in the input field, the book name and the category name, once the database is being connected, it pass into this book model, and I want to save it in the database right here. So here I'm just giving a result equals, so I want to return the plain so for that I want to return the result. So I'm just giving a plain result to convert object into string. So for that I'm just creating a dot id colon. So here the result dot book name, and I have a, sorry, result dot underscore id. So here I have a book name. So result dot book name, comma, here I have to give a category name, result dot category name. So I have to return this. So I have to give return plain result. So once I give this, and also have to convert this object id into string. So for that I have to give a toString method. So if you are not giving this, it will show some error. So I'm just save this, and I'm good. you have to use a use server directive right here. And once the form has been submitted, the form data whatever I have typed here, the book name and the category name will pass, and it connected to the database. It passed in the book name and category name in the collection. So it has been saved. Once it's been saved, it will be written to the database. So I have to post it right here. So whatever I have typed, once I submit, it's automatically saved to the database. I'm not creating any endpoint right here. So I'm just giving gk and info. Once my form is being submitted, my database is mutated in the sense my operation is creation operation is successful. So I'm just refreshing it right here, the two data I have. Once it's the third data is being added right here. So if even if I disable my javascript, my data, my form will get submitted. So for that I'm just go to other settings. So go to the settings. I want to disable my JavaScript. So go to this and go to the settings. I'm just giving a JavaScript. So I'm just giving a JavaScript right here. So I want to disable the JavaScript, right? So for that, um, so I don't allow the site to use the JavaScript. So I'm just disabled. Now I give the db. I'm just giving a storage. Once I submitted, so my database it's been updated. So once I refresh it, you could see the date db and storage is being submitted. So if I go to some other site, right, for example, uh, so I'm just go to this. This will not, because my JavaScript is disabled, right? This won't appear this pages, but my form is my form is being submitted even if my JavaScript is disabled in my browser. So first I will recap this again. So go to this page.js. I have a two input field. Here I have to give an action. In the action I'm just giving an add book. So my action is called, my add book will be called, the form data will be passed. The form data, I have a book and category. I have to connect with the DB. In the DB, I have to pass this whatever I have get from the input field. So I save it in the database. I have to convert to string. I have to return to the database. So this is all about the server action and the mutation. So thank you all of you.